Hello, viewers out there in the YouTube sphere. I'm Eli Parker, and this is the Let's Chat channel, and if you don't know what it is, then buckle up. But for those of you out there that have already been a part of this ride, my guest today needs no further introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Once again, for more times I can count. I mean, it's 4, so I can count to 4.
Yeah.
I'm joined by Mr. Shane Iceman Ison. Thank you very much for joining me yet again to entertain me and people out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I mostly entertain you, but no, thank you for having me on here. You know, it's always fascinating to see what we will chat about.
Oh, plugs to our first video is fascinating. Love it. But before we dive into a topic that I think we're both going to have a lot of fun with, how's life been since our last Let's Chat?
Well, it was a lot colder. But yeah, no, life's been okay. Been busy, working a lot. You know, we might not have announced.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up because I saw the announcement.
Do you want to go ahead and just talk about it straight out? Or
yeah, this guy, one of the holy trinity behind the local Cumberland Con, which if you don't know what that is, go check it out. Yes. You guys are having the OG Jason Voorhees.
Now, we're not done yet. We've got some people in the works, and we got some announcements coming up, and we're not done yet, but we just wanted to get the excitement rolling, and this is the 45th anniversary of Friday the 13th, too. So on the 45th anniversary, we're going to have the very first Jason step foot here in Somerset, and there's going to be some other things that we're going to announce with him. I won't spoil too much, but make sure you follow the page Cumberland Con on Facebook because we are going to be announcing some activities with him, perhaps.
He's going to kill a bunch of teenage camp counselors.
No.
Oh, I'm excited, and someone whose butt you need to drag out is Mr. Zahn. Because, Steve, if you're out there, I am determined to meet you and talk to you. Heck, I want to get you on the channel. But that's neither here nor there. But today, kind of a good segue there. Speaking of celebrities and pop culture, today, I just really want to talk about, because I think this year has really been picking up on it, I want to discuss with you my my cinema... I don't know. I think I'm having a stroke right now. You're big into the theater scene, so I figured why not discuss the movie theater scene in general, just the experience, because, you know, back in the heyday, you know, the movie theater experience is big. I think we're kind of getting a little reemergence of that lately.
I think so, too. It's all about experience.
Yes.
And when people started going to the movies where it was, like, the only thing to do, I think it was, like, kind of repetitive. But now it's become a experience. You know, you look at the Minecraft movie.
Oh, gosh.
Good or bad, however you think of it, it was a experience movie.
It was.
You think of Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. It wasn't just a movie. It was a 12-year process to get there to experience what all this vision was. And it was an experience that was covered by all of pop culture and all of, really, America. That wanted to see what happens next to their favorite characters. And I think sometimes Hollywood misses the mark on that because they think that the experience is just to throw stupid stuff at you. Yeah. But then you have movies like, I haven't watched it yet, but I've watched reviews. Let's say the movie Sinners. I know you've watched it.
I have watched Sinners,
and
yes.
From what I can tell, and you can attest to this, fantastic writing.
Yes.
Fantastic cinema, like the
camera work. Very cinematic, yes.
Very cinematic and fantastic acting.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And you put all those things together and you have a hit.
And soundtrack. Has an amazing soundtrack I didn't expect.
So, I mean, you put all those 4 things together and a movie that wasn't that expensive. I think it was only made $80 million to make, which in the Hollywood world is cheap.
Yeah.
You take Thunderbolts, for example, cost $180 million. And this is where my nerdum really pops up because I study these things because I find them all fascinating. But yeah, I love the movie theater experience. It is something. Here we go. You ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
Shane Ison's very first movie experience was Pocahontas. I remember as a kid walking into a movie theater in Moorhead, Kentucky, one screen, and it was Pocahontas.
Wow.
So there we go.
What was that like, seeing that on the big screen?
I remember, it was one of my earliest memories. I just remember it being like large. Of course I was too young to really take it in, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I remember it as being bigger than life. So I think that really started like my whoa, this is the movie cinema experience is bigger than life, with the right sound, surround sound.
Oh, definitely.
With the right screening, with the right lights, with people who aren't annoying. With everything combined, it can be such a surreal escaping from reality to where you are immersed in this new world that the director and the writer have created for you.
Our local one here, it's all right and it does the job, but the Cinemark Theater and just so many theaters out there, like the chains, corporate ones, just really capture that cinema aesthetic.
I think being from a small town where I only had that one screen, it was very old school. Like, the workers would dress up like the big movies.
Really?
Like during Star Wars, all the workers would be dressed up like Siths and Jedis.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and depending on the Disney movie, they would dress up. Like, in high school, I had a friend of mine who worked in the movie theater, and, I remember he would borrow some of my Jedi stuff. Not mine, might not have. And he to wear it during, I think it was The Phantom Menace. And I think even in Somerset movie theater, you still have a lot of that experience. I think the chains are guilty of this, like Cinemarks. It becomes almost too perfect.
Yeah, too corporate, maybe even.
It's almost too perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, give me that paper poster. I don't want to see screens with posters. I think that's one of the wrongest things our local cinema did, was put that screen out front.
Oh, I hate that digital. And it's broken 9 times out of 10, too.
And give me the old, real posters on the outside showing. It gets its own little section, and then you get another section, there's the other movie poster.
It blows my mind why they even did that, because, one, that did such great promoting for them, because people that was iconic. That was their hallmark, was people taking photos by the posters and posting it. Yeah. But now it's that thing must be so high maintenance, because I've seen the screen break a million times, setting it up. And
it cannot be cost effective.
It can't be.
Now, I don't know if you know this. In college, I worked at a movie theater.
Really?
Yeah, so I worked in a movie theater, and they didn't give me enough hours, but I didn't want to quit because I got to see movies for free.
Oh.
And I also got a job at Walmart, working in the toy department.
Okay.
So I was literally living my dream, watching movies, and then in the toy department. So
how old were you? You said college?
I was 18, and it was the best time. So I got to see the movies usually days to a week before anyone else on the public could see them too. So that was cool too.
And that's so much power that you can hold over people. I could spoil this right away.
And at the time, my then girlfriend was working at a DVD rental place, kind of like Blockbuster, but it was called Movie Gallery. Mm-hmm. So her job, she had to preview movies before they put them on the shelf. Huh. So we literally was on the up and up of movies for a good year. We had to watch movies in theater before they come out, and watch movies on DVD before they put them on the shelf. So it was
you've seen everything then by that rate. Golly. And also, going back, I want to say, I don't think anything tops the feeling of having a movie theater to yourself. Oh, yeah. Because recently, I have a buddy, he'll go to the movie theater to watch everything, which more power to him. But he invited me out to go see a new action movie that came out. Never heard of it prior, called Fight or Flight. Okay. And this was in the middle of a Tuesday, and we were the only ones in it. And it was an enjoyable movie, and all it was your stereotypical kind of funny action movie. Yeah. But it felt so nice just to have the theater to yourself. Yeah. And I tell you, this is the luck Haley and I have. We'll go to a movie theater, and the trailers are kickstart, it'll be a random day or evening, whatever, and it'll just be us. But almost every time, it'll be one dude walks in, and it's come on, we could have had the theater to ourselves the whole time, but...
Well, it's better that than 5 teenagers going straight for a corner.
Oh my god. I think the last movie I watched, because Haley and I, we also watched Clown in a Cornfield, and they had that. Yeah. Actually, it was the teens in the front row this time. And that was annoying. There's one point, this girl just screamed, "I told you so!" Out of nowhere, it's shut up.
So, what was that your worst movie theater experience?
Oh, no. I was probably the cause of someone's worst movie experience. Because there was that era of comedies, Will Ferrell comedies coming out. Yeah. And my first, movie theater Will Ferrell movie experience was Anchorman 2. Hadn't even watched the first one at this point. Went with my brother, and at that point, I would be chugging down my large sweet teas. And there was a scene, and of course, you know, Ron Burgundy will just shout, like, just blurb some random nonsense that catches you off guard.
Oh, yeah.
Here I was taking a big old swig of my big old sweet tea, and he does this thing, and I spew sweet tea on these two girls in front of us.
Way.
And they don't even, like, this kind of was worse than, like, them yelling at me. They just kind of turn back and look at me with absolute disgust. And I was just so embarrassed. I didn't even say I'm sorry or anything. I just kind of sat there in shame.
That would be a romantic story if, like, one of them became, like, that's not the story, is it?
No, that's definitely not the story.
My bad experience was Avatar 2.
Okay,
So
I'm curious about that.
So you got, you know, Cameron's next installment of the biggest movie of the world, Avatar. Here comes Avatar 2. I don't really know what it's about, but I gotta watch it. Everyone's gonna watch it. So I go in the theater. I got my friends I'm watching it with, and there is two people in front of me. And, you know, you have those people who just have to comment on everything. They have to say, I told you, or like you said before, or like, oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Oh, he did it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. Like, stop talking. Like I want to watch this movie. And it's kept going.
Oh my gosh.
And this was opening night. And I'm just like, because like I described to you before, I want to be immersed into this world. And especially the world that he made with Avatar. That's a whole different world. And for it just to be interrupted over and over by people just being like, oh, I can't believe he did that. Just like, it wasn't even like they were whispering. They were in a normal voice in a theater. That was the worst movie experience. I actually ended up going to go see it again just so I could like...
get that bitter taste out of your mouth.
Oh, watching movies is gambling.
Yes.
Because you don't know... let's take your example of Sinners. No one really knew what that movie was about. You went in... It was a gamble. Be like, I paid my money. It might be good. It might be bad. But you had faith in the process. Probably faith in the director. Same director of Black Panther 1 and 2. And, you know, again, it goes back to good writing, good acting, soundtrack, good director. All comes together. Your gamble's not that bad. You know, I think we're at the point where, like, Marvel movies are a gamble. You never know. The Marvels was a very terrible movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And it was a gamble. And it was... in my opinion, one of the worst Marvel movies ever made. And Thunderbolts, I thought was a fantastic Marvel movie, but it was a gamble because of the movies that led up to it. Was like, okay. So it's always a gamble, but that's part of life, you know? Every day you wake up is a gamble.
Speaking of Thunderbolts, now I really want to talk about like the technical mishaps, especially ones that come with, you know, rinky-dink local theaters. Because ours, admittedly lately, they've been struggling. Because, like, you were there the same night I went to Thunderbolts, and so you experienced the same problem. The screen was, like, slightly tilted and shrunken, so you had, like, this big black border on it the entire time.
So I think did they fix some of it, or did they not fix any?
No, they never fixed. I think you just are so caught up in the movie, you kind of tuned it out, because I did.
I guess I just didn't notice as much, because I was just...
The movie was that good.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. It is a breath of fresh air as far as
like,
Marvel goes.
if you don't connect, then your body will... almost disconnect with the surroundings and just kind of you're in the right environment to go sleep. Like there was a movie I saw, the Minecraft movie.
The Minecraft movie.
Minecraft movie is a perfect example. If you go in as a like critic, tearing apart every piece of that movie, you will not enjoy it. You actually probably hate it.
Yeah.
And I went in first like, what is this going to be? First 10 minutes, like this movie's going to be stupid. But then I was like, Shane, you have a choice right now. You can sit here and be like, stupid, 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 or turn your brain off and have a good time. So I turned my brain off, and I laughed at things I would never normally laugh at.
And I think that was their intention, too.
Yeah.
And plus, you probably had the good theater crowd experience where they're all, you know, going chicken jockey.
Oh, my God. I went Friday night, the biggest crowd. And now, the thing is, some teenagers sitting behind us, and they started talking. I was like, oh, gosh, here we go. But then when the movie started, they just shut up. But then when Chicken Jockey, they just went nuts. And it was like, but so did everybody else. No, they didn't throw things like other theaters. It was like watching Avengers Endgame again when Captain America got the hammer.
Yes, that's been the big comparison. And I went on the opening night for Endgame, and so I got to be a part. I was one of the people cheering.
Again, it goes back to an experience. And Minecraft movie, the reason it's making so much money is because it was an experience. Now take the Barbie movie, for example.
Yeah.
The Barbie movie also was a big risk. In the Barbie movie, you had no idea going in what this movie was going to be. And I didn't have to turn my brain off for that one. But it pleasantly was a fantastic movie.
Also, I think another thing that plays into that was Barbenheimer, because I went and saw Barbie separately with my wife because we just wanted to go see that, and then I went with the boys to do Barbenheimer at Lex Live, which has this big surround sound system. So
awesome.
another movie experience I want to talk about. Have you ever watched Quiet Place in movie theaters?
No, I never watched it in the movie theater.
Really? But it's super, because it's like those scenes where it goes dead quiet. You can tell like everyone's like paused, because like that's when the popcorn crunching is amplified, is during that. And when the like really loud scenes, you know, that's when they really you know. And this is like the main reasons I go to movie theaters even to this day, like nowadays, is to go see like the newest thrillers or horror movies, because I think it's much better to watch it in a movie theater than it is at home.
You know, it's funny because I feel like a lot of horror movies nowadays have kids in them, because what's scarier than your kid being in danger?
Yeah.
And I get that, but honestly, ever since having kids, it's hard for me to watch horror movies with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, as a parent, I'm putting my kid in that situation. And so, just to be completely honest, I have avoided horror movies for the last 5 to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And because it's just, if they have a kid in them, I don't want to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And now and that's the reason I actually didn't watch Quiet Place movies until last year. And then I had a marathon with my 2 older kids.
Wow.
So, and they loved them. It was an experience, but my 2 older kids are not old enough to like, you know, appreciate and not be scared of these things. Mm-hmm. I watched in theater opening night, what's that one horror movie that was filmed with the camera?
Blair Witch?
No, the next one that's really big.
Paranormal
Activity.
Paranormal Activity.
So
okay.
I watched Paranormal Activity opening night in theater, and it was an experience. Let me tell you, at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, that thing that happens in the movie, everybody in the theater yelled. Like, it was nuts. And especially the lore around that movie, where like there was this whole like rumor that the movie was like real.
Mm-hmm.
But also, to get real nerdy with that movie cost like $20,000 or $30,000 to make.
Really?
Yeah. And then the studio bought it for like $200,000. Wow. And then the studio made, because I think it ended up making like $10 million. But when you do percentage of cost versus profit, that is one of the biggest profit money-making movies to ever exist. One thing I will say about Paranormal Activity, the moving of the camera sometimes will get you motion sickness. And I think that's why it's not as done as much anymore. And I think people got tired of that kind of style. I don't know, it's fascinating to see the different styles of cinema through the years and what's hot. The age of the superhero movies, I think, is at the end. And I think we're on the cusp of the independent film. The problem is they don't get advertised enough. That's the only reason why they haven't been pushed over the edge. To be like, we could have this big emergence of original creators, original writers, original directors, original movies like Sinners that doesn't have this cinematic universe connected to it. And now Sinners was able to push over that, but the director had to join the cinematic universe of Marvel to get his name out there to really push that, to do what he wanted to do and elsewhere. So people are using the big names, cinematic universe movies, Superman, DC movies, Marvel movies, Harry Potter movies, Star Wars movies, so they can make their independent movies. So it's kind of, we're at the edge of this independent movie age, but I think we hold on to what's familiar. Mm-hmm. So that's why, you know, Superman's coming out in July. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch it opening weekend.
And that's a James Gunn project, which, he's got clout to his name because of
cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And even before he was Guardians of the Galaxy, people didn't know his name like they do now. Mm-hmm. He is a household director name now because of Guardians of the Galaxy. And now that he is head over DC, it's going to be fascinating to see what he does with that and how much he can kind of push where the cinematic universe cinema is still relevant, because I think right now Marvel is in very dangerous territory of becoming irrelevant, and we'll see how Avengers Doomsday does. We'll see how Fantastic Four does.
I'm eager for Fantastic Four.
I am, but are we at the point where we don't want something familiar, we want something that shocks us? And movies like Sinners, movies like Clown in a Cornfield, even though it probably wasn't a good movie.
It wasn't a good movie.
But it was original.
Yeah.
It made money. Like, people went to go see it. And it was low budget.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fascinating to see if people will still go see repetitive, what they've seen before. You know, Thunderbolts is doing okay money-wise, but for it to be rebranded as the new Avengers, it should be doing a lot better. It's not. So it's interesting to see those patterns. So, sorry, that was a rant, but... You know.
This TED Talk was brought to you by...
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree, because, like, I will say, as far as, like, you know, the cinematic universe goes, that's just a cow that's been milked dry, really, since Endgame. Because the problem they've ran into is they have way too many eggs in the basket. Yeah. And I think the streaming, the shows kind of played a big part into that. Yeah. Which some of the shows are really good, but I think that kind of desaturates the value of it. Because it used to... Going to those movies, heck, even when Captain Marvel came out, that still felt like an event, even though it was a movie.
There was things that happened in it too that was important to the story.
Yes, because it was going to be important for Endgame. It was crucial, but like everything before then felt so crucial. But now there's just kind of like been no direction. Yeah. They were building up with the whole Kang Dynasty thing, which that kind of fell apart due to the controversy of Jonathan Banks.
I have faith that there might be a turnaround in Marvel. But, like I said, I feel like people are also, like, kind of just tired of this repetitive movie-going experience.
Yes.
They want something different. And again, I think that's why Minecraft was so popular, because they wanted a different kind of experience. And we'll see what the future holds. So, I do think movie cinema, like, movie-going is on the rise because of movies like Minecraft, because of movies that are so unique. That's like, you got to go experience that in theater, or you're not experiencing it the right way. And that's what we have to advertise as people who love movie theaters. Like, yeah, you can go watch it on Netflix, cool. You can watch it on Peacock. You can watch it on HBO Max now, because they changed the name back. Or you go to a movie theater and escape reality, which sometimes really sucks. Escape reality and get immersed in a whole new world that the director and the writer wrote for you to experience. And I think that's cool.
I can't say anything better than that. No, you're right. I'm glad, like, the fatigue is finally, I think, starting to get through to Hollywood, especially with the formulaic stuff and especially the live-action remakes. I haven't cared for any of those. And I'm hoping, going back to Marvel, they kind of, like, tie the knot on that with Doomsday, but who knows?
Who knows?
There's just a lot that needs to be laid to rest, and like you said, I think there needs to be kind of a new re-emergence as far as cinema goes. Yeah. And I feel like we get that. That's a big reason I go see horror a lot, is there's a lot of originality and innovation that comes with that. But who knows? We'll see. Lately, it has just been an experience, I feel like, because we'll go, and it'll be like a good, decent crowd. It's like a good, memorable, you know, you're immersed, and the crowd you're with has been kind of pleasant. It kind of adds to the atmosphere of it.
And that's why I like going opening weekend.
Yes.
Because you get the biggest fans, you get the biggest, like, laughs, you get the biggest, you know, gas. And that's, I love... I know, you know, you said that sometimes you like to go with just you and your wife and experience that, which I think that's cool. But, you know, one of the things that and you were there at Thunderbolts opening weekend, is just something different when everybody is, like, it's all, like, we're all connected, no matter what color, what race, what sex, what anything that you think you are, religion, whatever. We are all sitting there experiencing the same thing together, and the only thing that does that is the movie cinema experience.
Yeah,
like, there is nothing else on earth that unites people as much as movie cinema. Like, I don't know what the person 3 chairs down believes, and I don't care, because we're both experiencing something together, no matter how we feel about the movie. Even afterwards, it doesn't matter, because when we're in it, we were together. And I think that is part of the movie experience too, is like, it breaks all the barriers. Now, there are, of course, movies that purposely do things that points one way or the other, and that's the director's or writer's choice. But I think the movies that do the best job tells a story, not just about one side or the other, but tells a story that emotionally connects with both sides. And then you have movies like Minecraft that are just silly. Like,
so that was a pretty unifying movie too, you have to admit.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something really cool about that.
I agree.
Especially in this divided
Oh, yes.
world we live in.
And you know what? Because Jack Black did say, like, the Minecraft movie is what everybody needs right now. And after watching it, I can understand.
Yeah.
Everyone's so overstimulated and stressed by what's going on in the world. And you, like you said, reality sucks sometimes, and we need that sense of escapism. And what easier way to do that than to go watch a movie at the theater?
You know what's another way to escape reality sometimes? It's watching your podcast.
Yes! Hopefully you all have felt unified watching this. All 22 of you out there. I think...
I would say one more thing. Support your local theater. If you're here in Somerset, support it. If you're in Denmark, support it. If you're... I don't know why I said Denmark. If you're wherever you're watching this from, support your local theater. They cannot survive without you. Go experience a movie theater experience. Even if the movie's bad, you're still supporting local business. So I think that's huge too. So.
Ditto. But with that said, I think we're going to wrap up here. But I want to thank you again for hopping on and entertaining me and actually enlightening me. You did that more, I think, than entertaining.
I mean,
this time around.
Maybe that's what I'm here for.
Chicken.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
With that said, make sure, of course, to like, comment, subscribe, as always. But thank you all for coming. You didn't come. You did. Thank you all for watching. But like that, as always, that is a wrap.